Hello and welcome to the 17th video in this series, making a space shooter using HTML and JavaScript. So this video where I'm actually not going to be writing any code, it's all on GitHub. The reason honestly is because we're dealing with sounds here, and I've recorded the video twice because I had a couple of errors, and both times I forgot to turn on the system audio. It's usually turned off, so we couldn't actually hear any sound when it came to playing it. It's not much code, and I'll talk you through the code anyway, as always in relatively detailed explanations. So I've added inside the assets folder then sounds here with all of these wave files that are the various different sounds during the game. I got these wave files all from freesound.org, and I'm a bit annoyed with myself, not only for getting system audio but for also forgetting to write down the credits of who made the sounds. The only saving thing I think for me is there are lots and lots and lots of sounds like these sounds, but if you happen to watch this video and recognise your own sound being used without credit, please comment and I'll put it in the description. Anyway, so I've got those sounds inside the assets here, and then inside defs.js we've added some sound files in a list here, and the hard coding that as a constant the path to the sound files. Now I could have actually put these probably in the game settings or something, but I've left them outside. It was easier for me to get my head around. Then in sounds.js is a new file. It's been created in the JS folder and included in index.html. In here we've got three very simple functions. One is to load a sound. This takes the name of the file. And in game manager in defs.js I've added a new object called sounds into the game manager. And then basically for every one of the entries when we set up the sounds in this sound files array, so countdown, explosion, etc., this load sound is called with that name. That's set as a key in the sounds object, and that stores a new audio object from the JavaScript audio library with a path to the wave file. In other words, we'll create an audio object where it loads that wave file. The init sounds here is something we call from main.js to load all of our sounds when the program starts. And then last but not least, a very simple play sound function that just plays a sound according to the key that we ask for from the sounds object. So sound brings a huge amount to any app, and it's usually amazingly simple to, at least to use very basically. If you want to get complicated, it can be quite difficult, but for our uses this more than suffices. So where is it in the code then? Well, in player.js, in the logic inside the update, where we look if we've been hit or not, where we're logging player hit, we're going to play the lose life sound. Inside enemy.js, where the enemy lives are less than equal to 0, we'll play an explosion sound because the enemy is going to blow up. And then in main.js at the bottom, so right when we start, before we set up the sequences, I'm actually initializing the sounds here, so we're ready to go. And then I'm going to scroll up and try and find all the places the sounds were put in because I can never remember them. Okay, so and this is where I've made a slight small change to the code as well. So we play the countdown side sound when we start running the countdown, but I want that to play with every time we change the value. And before we had write message directly in here in the set timeout, I've written a little function called set countdown value that plays our sound counting down, so the beep, and then writes the message to the screen. Here at the end of the countdown we play the go sound, so the bling, whatever it is. And then in the show game over we decide which one we want to play. A completed sound, so kind of success sound if all the enemies have gone by and you're still alive. Otherwise play the sort of doom, horrible, dark game over sound if you've lost the game and died and lost all of your lives. And just those sounds there make a huge difference to how the game sort of plays and feels. So I'm going to switch to the browser now and make sure all that's working, because that's one of the things I haven't done. And now you should be able to, I hope, hear the beeping of the system audio, and then when we hear some ships you hear an explosion sound. And let's see if I can get hit by one. And there's a sound when I get hit as well. And then we have the game over sound with all of the ships having reached the end. Okay then, so that's it for this video. It's short and sweet. I'm sorry about the bit of the mess with code because I messed the video up a couple of times and then decided just to talk through the code. Again, it's all on GitHub anyway, so you can take it, and this really isn't complicated. And that almost completes the game. Just one short little video to go and everything's done. I hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions, welcome as always on YouTube.